The Bab el-Mandeb Strait, under the cover of night, pulses with the movement of ships, each one a vessel of global trade. This narrow waterway, connecting the Indian Ocean to the Red Sea, is a critical choke point. Nearly 15% of world trade passes through here. For years, it was a predictable route. Now, in November 2025, it's a flashpoint. Houthi attacks have turned the Red Sea into a high-risk zone, disrupting shipping and straining the global supply chain. But beneath the headlines, a deeper conflict simmers on the African shore. Ethiopia, landlocked and ambitious, seeks a port, setting it on a collision course with its neighbors. In response, Egypt, Eritrea, and Somalia have formed the Red Sea Axis, united to contain Ethiopia's reach. The stakes are global. Any disruption here threatens economies far beyond Africa. Military drills, arms shipments, and tense diplomacy now define the region. Ethiopia, undeterred, pushes forward, convinced its future depends on access to the sea. The decisions made here could destabilize the region and disrupt the world economy. The Red Sea is no longer just a commercial artery. It's a theater of high-stakes power plays. The world watches, holding its breath. This is a story of maps, ambition, and the lines that divide nations. Ethiopia's quest for a coastline has set off a chain reaction. The Red Sea Axis is determined to stop it. Every move is a message, every alliance a warning. The region stands on edge, the outcome uncertain. The next chapter is being written now. Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation, has been landlocked since Eritrea's independence in 1993. Dependent on Djibouti for 95% of its trade, Ethiopia pays a steep price, nearly $2 billion a year. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has made sea access a national priority, framing it as a matter of survival. In early 2024, Ethiopia signed a bold deal with Somaliland recognition in exchange for a 50-year lease on a stretch of coastline. The plan built a port and naval base, breaking Djibouti's monopoly and reshaping Ethiopia's destiny. For Somaliland, it's a shot at long-sought international recognition. But for Somalia, it's an outrage, a violation of sovereignty and a threat to national unity. Ethiopia insists the move is economic, not military, but neighbors see it as expansionist. The deal has united old rivals against Ethiopia, catalyzing the formation of the Red Sea Axis. What Addis Ababa calls opportunity, others call provocation. The Horn of Africa is now a chessboard, and Ethiopia's move has set the pieces in motion. The region braces for what comes next. Somalia's response to Ethiopia's Somaliland deal was swift. Diplomatic outrage, alliances forged in urgency. Mogadishu found partners in Cairo and Asmara, forming the Red Sea Axis to counter Ethiopia's ambitions. Egypt and Somalia signed a defense pact. Egyptian weapons and troops soon followed. The new, awesome peacekeeping force now includes thousands of Egyptian soldiers, signaling a strategic encirclement of Ethiopia. This coalition is more than temporary. It's a realignment of regional power. Egypt, Eritrea, and Somalia see Ethiopia's quest as a threat to stability. Through joint military action and diplomatic pressure, they aim to isolate Addis Ababa. The Red Sea is now a battleground of alliances. The contest is no longer just about ports. It's about the future balance of power in the Horn of Africa. The stakes have never been higher. For Egypt, the Red Sea conflict is about more than Somalia. It's about survival. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam threatens Egypt's control of the Nile, its lifeblood. The Suez Canal, Egypt's economic artery, has been battered by Houthi attacks, exposing its vulnerability. The idea of an Ethiopian navy in the Red Sea is unacceptable to Cairo. Egypt's military presence in Somalia is a forward defense, keeping threats far from home. Backed by a $29.7 billion Qatari investment, Egypt is emboldened to act. The Gulf rivalry, Qatar and Turkey backing Egypt, UAE backing Ethiopia, turns the Horn into a proxy battleground. By supporting Somalia, Egypt counters Ethiopia and asserts itself as a regional power broker. The deployment of troops is a clear message. Ethiopia's ambitions will be met with force. The Red Sea is now a chessboard for regional and global powers. Every move is watched, every action calculated. Eritrea and Ethiopia's relationship has swung from bitter enemies to allies and back again. The 2018 peace deal brought hope, but the Pretoria Agreement of 2022, signed without Eritrea's input, shattered trust. Eritrea sees Ethiopia's Somaliland deal as an existential threat, fearing it's a prelude to claims on Eritrean ports. President Afwerki has mobilized troops and joined forces with Egypt and Somalia to contain Ethiopia. Eritrea's Red Sea coastline makes it a pivotal player in the new axis. The border is tense, with military buildups on both sides. Eritrea, once Ethiopia's ally, is now its chief adversary. Old wounds have reopened, and the risk of direct conflict is real. The Horn of Africa's alliances have shifted once again. The region holds its breath. For Somalia, Ethiopia's deal with Somaliland is a direct attack on its sovereignty. After years of rebuilding, Somalia sees this as an existential threat. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has rallied international support, framing the issue as a violation of international law. The defense pact with Egypt in coordination with Eritrea have brought weapons, training, and troops. Egyptian forces in Somalia raise the stakes, turning a bilateral dispute into a regional crisis. The crisis has unified Somalia, strengthening its central government. Mogadishu asserts itself as the sole guardian of Somali territory. Any engagement with Somaliland that bypasses Mogadishu is fiercely opposed. By drawing in regional powers, Somalia has made its struggle a central issue of Red Sea security. Once seen as a failed state, Somalia now stands at the heart of a global contest. The Horn of Africa's crisis is now a global affair. The UAE backs Ethiopia, investing billions in managing Berbera port. Qatar and Turkey support Egypt and Somalia, pouring in funds and political backing. The Gulf rivalry fuels the conflict, while the US, China, and Russia maneuver for influence. China's base in Djibouti and Russia's plans in Sudan add to the militarization. The flow of arms and money from outside powers makes peace elusive. The Houthi crisis has already shown how instability here can cripple global trade. A direct conflict would be catastrophic, shutting down a vital artery of the world economy. The Red Sea's fate is now tied to decisions made in distant capitals. The world cannot afford to look away. As 2025 ends, the Red Sea stands at a crossroads. The standoff between Ethiopia and the Red Sea axis could ignite at any moment. Three futures are possible. First, managed competition and de-escalation, with diplomatic compromise granting Ethiopia port access in exchange for peace. Second, a protracted proxy conflict, with Gulf states deepening involvement and the region locked in instability. Third, open war, a miscalculation sparking a regional conflict that devastates economies and displaces millions. The cost of failure is immense, the stakes global. The sea is calm for now, but the storm clouds are gathering. The choices made in the coming months will shape the fate of the Horn of Africa and the world. The world watches, hoping for peace, fearing the fire to come. The Red Sea's future hangs in the balance. The next move is critical.